Welcome to Chalk and Cheese, the problem solving podcast of two women from very different eras. I am your cheese, Anna Duke,
And I'm the chalk, Linda Rands.
and we're really excited to solve some of your holiday dilemmas.
We are.
Are you going away this year, Linda?
I am. I'm going to France, actually, in June.
Ooh, gorge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm doing this year with my girlfriends?
Go on, tell me.
So we're all turning 30 this year, and we thought instead of buying each one a present, instead we would make a group savings fund. And every month for the whole year until all of us turn 30, we're putting £20 in this group vault.
That's a really good idea.
Thank you. And then at the end of the year, when all of us are 30, we're going on a holiday and we're going to have our vault and we're going to use it for delicious meals, days out, just basically just being girls.
I have done the same, and we call it Gourmet Club. And there were 5 of us in it.
Okay.
And we all put in so much every month. And then when we go out, we just go into that pot of money and go to fantastic restaurants.
Yeah.
And we feel like we're not paying because we've already done it. We
I
can
know.
say
It
It's
feels like
great.
a life hack, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
really.
because you don't notice the £20 going at the time.
Yeah.
But speaking of holidays, I have a funny little story for you.
Okay.
So, my granddad, who has now unfortunately passed,
Yes.
a few years ago, I'd say the early 2000s, he needed to get his passport renewed. Okay.
Funny.
So my auntie drops him up to the shopping centre where there's those photo booths.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And she goes off to do the grocery shopping.
Right.
And she says to him, hop in there now and get your passport photos
Right.
done. So she comes back and he's sitting on a bench and he's looking very forlorn. He's looking very sad. And she says to him, did you get the photos? And he's like, you're not going to believe this now. Some bastards after sneaking in behind me while I was doing the photos and ruining it. And my auntie's like, obviously confused. I can see you're looking confused.
Yeah.
Who would sneak into a back of a photo booth? Those things are tiny. So she says, what do you mean someone's looking behind you? And he said, I mean exactly what I'm saying. Someone's after sneaking in behind me. And she goes, and who was he? And he said, I don't know. Because he obviously ran away before I could see him. And I didn't notice he'd snuck in behind me until the photos are printed and he's in the background. Right? And my auntie is like, there's absolutely no way that happened. You were literally gone mad. And he hands her the photos. And it turned out... Sorry. He hands her the photos and it turns out... Who's in the background? Arnold Schwarzenegger. My granddad had clicked some sort of celebrity filter. Right? And he put a photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the background. So Andy takes the photos and goes, oh, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And my granddad doesn't know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is. So he goes, I don't care who he is. He's a bastard. I'm going to show you the photo. I'm going to post this on our socials.
Really? They look like actually. They look like
But it
family.
is so funny because he truly thought that Arnold Schwarzenegger, in a tux, just snuck in. Can you see this? He truly thought Arnold Schwarzenegger in his tux had snuck in behind him at the square in Dallas.
It's hilarious.
Oh, so... Honestly, I'm so happy we have the photo. Otherwise, everyone would just
could not believe it.
But imagine him sitting there on the bench, looking at it, being like, "How the fuck did that guy get in behind me without me noticing?"
I love it. Oh,
Oh,
Very
but
funny.
without further ado, let's get on to our first problem. Today we're on the topic of holidays, and we're looking at some holiday disasters and problems people have had abroad.
Okay.
My boyfriend's going on a lad's holiday soon. Backstory. He did cheat on me in the past, but it was at the start of our relationship before we were official. I'm trying to be chill about things, but I'm having doubts. What should I do?
She can't really stop him going on holiday. I mean, yeah, if you're worried, you're worried. But I mean, I think, you have to have a certain amount of trust.
No, but you can stop someone going on holidays.
Well, I wouldn't like it as a person said, excuse me, you can't go on holiday. That would make me even more determined to go on holiday.
I personally think I've been very lucky enough to never have been cheated on. But I do think if my boyfriend had cheated on me before with his friends, and then he was like, I'm off to go to Marbella with the boys, I would say, I actually don't trust you enough to go right now.
Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
You couldn't.
No. No, I mean, I would probably spend the whole time that he was away, be going, oh my God, is he sleeping with somebody else or something? But I would never say, no, you can't go.
But the thing is, right? Do you not think if you were going to say your boyfriend should go away, even though you don't trust him, and you'd spend the whole time racked with guilt, that would have a bigger impact on the relationship? Because then when he comes home, you've got all this panic, you've been really anxiety ridden,
Yeah.
you're probably going to be a bit of a nightmare to be around,
Yeah.
and you will never know whether he did or didn't cheat on
No.
you. Do you not think that would have a worse effect on the relationship than if you just said to him, actually, we're not in a place where I trust you enough to do this right now?
No, I think it would have exactly the same effect, because I think if somebody said to me, I'm sorry, I don't trust you enough to go on holiday, that would go, I'm off, bye.
But the reason that she doesn't trust him is because he cheated on her before.
I know, but at some point they must have built up some trust together during that. Otherwise, why is she still with him? I mean, darling, he could go to a bar on his own with guys and meet a girl and do the business. I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, everywhere he goes, then that person
Is gonna be paranoid.
We're always going to be paranoid, yeah.
No, but my point is, right, we don't know the time gap between him cheating and him going on the holidays. So she's saying, I don't trust him right now. She's not saying I'd never trust him. But I'm like, I think you should personally be honest with your partner, would be my stance on things. So I would say, if you truly, I think you should, in a relationship, also be able to voice your feelings. You should be able to say, I don't trust you. You did fuck up before. We're not in a place where a relationship can handle this right now. And maybe if we are continuing on for a longer time, I'll be in a happier place where you can do this at a later point. But right now, I do feel like this is going to be detrimental for our relationship. So if you want to go, I don't want to be together.
Well, that's the way you could deal with it as well. I mean, you know, then you can be honest, but I still think I would never say to somebody, no, you can't go because I don't trust you.
I know what you mean. I would struggle to put the foot down as well.
Yeah.
But
I see your point. I mean, I think that's a very valid thing. But he could say, yeah, but I'm still going, whatever.
my stance on it to this listener would definitely be, if you're not comfortable with your boyfriend doing something, voice it. It doesn't mean that he's going to listen or obey you.
No, exactly.
But I would definitely say it.
Voice it. Yeah, voice it.
But you're saying let him go.
I would say, I don't think you can put your foot down and say, no, you can't go. I think that's going too far.
Moving on to the next listener's problem. We were just on a girls' holiday and I was the last one of us to check out, and I was left with a fine for some damages to the room. The damages were only minor, but I did have to pay the fine in full. After I told the group, no one has paid me back. No one is claiming responsibility for the damages, and I've been stuck with the bill. What should I do?
Were they sharing a room, do we know?
Yes, I would imagine so.
Well, then I think
Girls'
they should
holiday.
share the fine.
Oh, so the obvious thing is obviously they should share the fine in like the perfect world. But what should this listener do? So her girlfriends, I'm assuming it's stuff like broken glasses,
Yeah, maybe.
you know, stuff like that. She said it's a minor damages. So I know that in hotels before I've broken glasses and they can charge you for that. So I'm imagining it's minor damages, something like wine glasses or something.
Oh, well, I've actually been in a hotel room where I actually dropped red wine on a carpet. I knocked it over a bottle of red wine, and I tried to wipe it all up with the towels from the bathroom. But I did mention it to the people in the morning when I left, and they didn't charge me anything.
Oh, that was nice.
No, and it was very nice. I said, I'm really, really sorry.
I've got a fine in a hotel before, just for breaking stuff. It was actually when I was in Magaluf on a girls' holiday. Yeah, but I think they're really strict in those countries. Actually, you know what it was? We invited the boys from next door. We didn't know them. We met them talking over the balcony.
That sounds like you.
And we invited them over to our room for drinks. And they stole some of our glasses.
No.
Yeah. And we had to pay a fine. Terrible. Carry on. But back to this listener's problem.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously in a perfect world, they should split the fine perfectly. But that's not what she's asking us. She's asking what should she do? Because no one's replying to her texts. And the group are just not paying her. Like, do you fall out with your friends over a small minor fine? Or do you stand your ground and say, actually, come on, everyone cough up?
Well, yeah, I would say, come on, we were all in that room.
Yeah, but what do you do if no one replies?
Well, they're not very good friends, are they then?
No, but picture with me and you. Picture me and you go on a holiday.
Yeah.
There's a fine. I just don't text you back and I'm like, oh, that actually wasn't me. What are you going to do? Are you going to just fall out with me?
No, I keep pestering you until I got the money.
Really?
Yeah.
I think for me, honestly, I think maybe, how much is the fine? If it's only a minor damages.
Yeah, well, we don't know, do we? That's the point.
Yes, but if it's let me finish my argument, Linda.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
I think if it's anything under 80 quid, honestly, just pay it, move on with your life, and just be a bit salty about it, but just pay
Oh,
it.
do you know what? I wouldn't see. I'm not like that. You see, because I like justice, you know, and I don't think that's fair that one person should have to pay a fine where they were all sharing the risk. I would be so cross, and actually, I would not be happy with those friends, and I would actually say to myself, are they really friends then?
True.
Sorry, I mean, no.
True. Reconsider the whole friend group.
Yeah, thank you.
Fair. Personally, if it's under 80 quid, I would just move on with your life. That's my advice.
My advice was don't get rid of friends.
Linda's advice is get rid of all of your friends. That's just so dramatic. Like, it's hard to make friends. Like, Linda, every problem you solve with just like, well, leave. And I'm like, that's why you live on your own.
No, I choose to live on my own. Thank you very much.
Everyone's wronged this lady. Okay, moving on to our next listener's problem. I met this French guy once I was on a solo trip to Paris. That sounds like you.
Oh, yeah.
We had a week-long romance. I love that for you. But he's gone a bit quiet since I left. Thinking of going back to surprise him, though. What do you think?
Oh, I don't think you should surprise somebody. That could be disastrous.
He's gone a bit quiet. Girl,
Get over it.
I don't think he's into you.
Accept it. No, exactly. It was a bit of fun.
yeah, but maybe she could go back there and have a bit more fun.
What, with him or someone else?
No, Linda, listen to the problems. Should she go back to France?
No. Well, I mean, she can go back to France.
Well, you had a holiday romance.
Yeah, but that went on for about a year though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you recommend?
Well, in my case, no, it was a complete disaster. But in this case, well, I mean, unless you want to go back to Paris just to have a good time, but I wouldn't go back because you want to hook up with this person, because this person has gone very quiet. I think you should get the hint.
You know what? I hate to have to agree with you on this, but I have to totally agree.
Oh, thank you.
It's
That's
bad
unusual.
news. It's looking like he's not into you.
No, exactly.
I think.
Get the hint. Yeah. Unfortunately, sorry for you, but yeah, get the hint.
Yeah.
And
Get
don't
it.
embarrass yourself. That's what I'd say.
Harsh.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
But maybe she's a romantic.
But he obviously isn't.
Maybe he's bad at texts.
I don't think these days you can use that as an excuse.
Do you not think? My boyfriend's so bad at texting me.
Is it?
Yeah, when I first started seeing Alfie, like, I felt like I had to get onto him a lot more. He's just not the type of guy to just
Yeah,
drop
but that's
you a
your
text.
type of personality. You're on it.
True.
You know, I mean, some people are a bit slower about things. But this has been a week. She's been back for a week.
I think, you know what, actually, I'm changing my advice. I think if you can go to Paris and if you are okay with him rejecting you, if it doesn't go well, and you still think you could have a good holiday, then yes, I love love.
In that situation, I agree with you.
Okay, so just go to Paris and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Or don't.
Okay, moving on to the next problem. I feel like we're not giving good advice today.
Do we ever give good advice? I
I'm-
think that is the question.
Moving on to the next listener's problem. My friend cheated on her boyfriend while we were on holiday. The guilt is keeping me up at night. Should I tell him?
No. In this situation, no. I don't know whether I would get involved.
I would never rat out on my girlfriends. And I think my girlfriend's boyfriends should be worried because if anything happens to them, I'm never telling any of you. It's none of my business.
No,
I would
exactly.
always go on the side of the girl. However, there is some exceptions for this.
I don't know whether I go on the side of the girl. I just don't think I would want to get involved because it could cause so many problems. And you think, why did you say that?
100%.
Why, you know, then you get the other side and said, you should have told me. I mean, you know, there's two ways it could go. I wouldn't want to get involved. No.
I would view it as none of my business. However, I would also talk to my girlfriend about it.
Well, yes, that you could do.
I would just like I would not be super comfortable with my girlfriend cheating on her boyfriend, and I would have to have a word with her
No,
about it.
true.
But I also do want to bring up another point. How regularly is your friend cheating on her boyfriend? Because there would definitely reach a point where I would start to feel really guilty about it. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that is the conversation you could have with your friend and say, hey, look, I'm feeling really guilty about this. You have to confront your boyfriend about it or stop doing it.
Yeah. How many times would you let your friend cheat on her boyfriend before you'd pull her up on it?
Once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you do if she continued? What would you do if she continued to cheat on her boyfriend?
I'd say, look, I don't agree with what you're doing. I mean, it's not right.
Would you fall out with her?
It could come to that.
Would you? Would you? Be never tell her
No,
boyfriend?
no, that I wouldn't do.
I don't think ever tell the boyfriend. The only time I think there could be an exception in this is: are you friends with the boyfriend?
Oh, yeah, but even so, I'd still think it's their relationship. It's not my relationship. You know?
Agree. Me and Linda are both of the opinion that don't rat on your friend.
No.
It's nothing to do with you, girl.
No.
Don't even be telling us.
Yeah.
Keep that secret safe. Keep that secret safe. Okay. Me and my girlfriend recently went on our first holiday together. I unfortunately contracted neurovirus while I was away. I woke up in the middle of the night, desperate to go. I knew I wasn't going to make it down the hall to the toilet in our hostel. I did what I never wanted to do, and I was forced to shit in the bin. I should note that we are in a lesbian relationship, and when my girlfriend woke up, we locked eyes. Since we got home, I know that she won't look at me the same. What should I do?
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, in that sort of situation, if you're sick, what else was she to do? I mean, the bin was handy. I agree. It's not great, but, on the other hand, it wasn't like she did it deliberately. I mean, she was sick, for God's sake. And the girlfriend should accept that and say, oh, darling, it's really awful that you were sick. Yeah, it's not very nice to witness, but it is as it is,
So but what is your advice? What are you saying she should do?
Well, but she hasn't said her
girlfriend won't look at her the same.
Look at her the same. I would have the conversation with the girlfriend and just say, look, I couldn't help that. Is it going to ruin our relationship because I did that, but which I couldn't help? And I would say, if the girlfriend is not looking at her the same, it says a lot about the girlfriend, I think, because they have to be understanding.
Again, sometimes I think your solutions are very in a perfect world. In a perfect world, sure, you can just look at your girlfriend and say, shit happens.
Literally.
But I know, now I'm not in a lesbian relationship, but I know for a fact, if I woke up in a hostel and Alfie was shitting in the bin, I don't know, I would have the ick. Like, I would have the ick. Like, if Alfie's just shat in the bin, room stinks of shit, I'm disgusted. Even if I'm trying to say, yeah, sure, you were sick, maybe I don't feel romantically about this person anymore.
Yeah, but that says a lot about your relationship then.
But does it say that much about me as a person? Like, you're saying that says a lot about the girlfriend as a girlfriend. I'm like, sorry to this listener, but I do understand in some ways why your girlfriend has developed the ick.
Oh, I think it's a little bit unfair.
It is unfair, 100%. And I do definitely think she should have the conversation about it.
Yeah, I think, definitely they should talk about it because, I mean, no, that should not be something that would ruin a relationship.
Do you think you could look at at the time, could you have looked at your husband shitting in a bin and moved on?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think it would ruin a relationship for me.
In that situation where, I mean, if it was that they weren't sick, they just did it. I mean, that's something very, very different. But this person was sick. I mean, come on. Sometimes you can't... What was she going to do? Shit all over the floor?
You know what?
Down
You're
the
actually
corridor?
right. You're right. It is so much better you got it in a bin.
Yeah, I mean...
You are responsible.
Exactly, clever. And all she had to do was go and empty it in the toilet eventually.
Yeah, room stinks.
Well, yeah, open the windows. Whatever.
Okay, right. If you ever do need to shit in a bin, do it in front of Linda. She is like so down for it. Look, honestly, I think you need to have an awkward conversation. But if you really are feeling like this is massively impacting your relationship and your girlfriend's not looking at you the same as well again, you also could leave the relationship. Maybe you've given yourself the ick in the
Yeah.
relationship. Shit in the bin, break up with your girlfriend.
Well, exactly.
No, chat to her, honestly. I'm sure you can work it out, and if you can't,
Yeah.
shit happens.
Literally.
Okay, my wife and I have been saving for a special family holiday for ages. On day one, we got friendly with another family with kids the same age as ours. We couldn't believe they were from the same area as us. After a few days, they wouldn't leave us alone and did not get the message that we just wanted some family time. Upon arriving home, they have continuously contacted us. Are we being mean that we don't want to hang out with them? What would you do in this situation?
Well, this is a difficult one. That they don't get the message.
So I had this on holidays before. Did I ever tell you about my holiday in Morocco?
No.
So I went to Morocco with one of my ex-boyfriends. We were doing it on a budget, and I ended up meeting this guy in a cafe, and we were telling him about how we were staying. We were just telling him we were looking for budget accommodation, and he was Moroccan French, and he owned a house, and he was like, "You can stay for the month in my house. It's super, super, super cheap, right on the beach." When we got there, we were like, "We'll just have a look." Place was amazing, was super cheap, and we were like, "This is stunning." He would not leave us alone. The catch was he was very lonely and he wanted to hang out with us every day. Every time we went anywhere, he was following us out the house. It got to the point where I was waking up at the crack of dawn in the morning just to try and get away from this man. One day, Linda, I snuck out with my boyfriend. We went to the beach. His name was Baba. And we knew at some point Baba was going to follow us there. I was in the ocean and I seen Baba and he was like, Anna, trying to flag me down. I stayed in the ocean for an hour. Just because I was like, I can't get out. I can't face this man. But I also can't fight with him because I'm living in his house. But yeah, in that situation, I was very immature. I just decided to just start ignoring him, which didn't really work.
Yeah, but I mean, in this case as well, they could just ignore the fact that these people are contacting them rather than telling. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can either ignore them
Yeah.
and let them get the message.
Do you believe in ghosting?
In this case, or what they could do is actually speak to them and say, look, we have very, very busy lives. We had very, very little time to meet up with people. I'm really sorry. And blah, blah, blah.
See, I'm actually thinking about this from a different angle. I'm thinking, you mentioned in this problem, dear listener, that your kids are the same age. And I, as I said, do not have kids. But I am thinking childcare. So I'm thinking, why are you falling out with these people when they live locally? You've got kids the same age. You actually don't have to like them. But can we not bring back the art of telling a lie?
Yeah, but if you really don't like them, it's hard.
I just think if your kids get along and they're living local, I'd be keeping them around. I'm just saying, grin and bear it. Like, you're a parent. And also, you might grow to love someone. I've grown to love loads of people. Sure, I hated you at the start. No, but it's true.
That's so true.
I think, get over yourself. Get on to these parents that have kids similar to you. You might be able to lift share. They might mind the kids.
But then they will have to mind their kids and then they have more involvement with them. I don't know. If they really don't like them, I think I would ghost them.
Okay.
And
Have you
just
ever been
get the
ghosted?
message. I don't think so.
No? No one
No,
ever
I
stopped
don't
texting you back?
No, I don't think so.
I've been ghosted.
Have you?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I will say about ghosting.
Did you get the message?
I got the message loud and clear, but it played a lot more on my self-esteem than you would think.
Oh,
Because you think, wow, I'm not even worthy of
a text.
I'm not even worthy of a text. And also, if they're living locally, one thing I also want to add, if you just ghost them, you might run into them again.
I know, but they're not getting the message, are they?
But in future years, their kids could end up on the same football team, and now you've just been a neighbourhood arsehole. So you're saying ghost them?
I that would be my way, and hope they get the message.
I'm saying learn to love them. You never know where they're going to show up in your life, and it's looking like you could, have some
This
basis.
is Anna, the opportunist.
And this is Linda, the raging bitch.
I'm being practical.
And I'm being smart. Okay. Do we think that's solved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for them.
Well, look,
maybe
two
not.
different pieces of advice. Take from it what you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on to another listener's problem. I was traveling around South America and bumped into this guy a few times in different places. We got on really well. We had the best time and we started sleeping together. But then one day, I find out he's got a long-term girlfriend. I'm so sorry you found that out. I'm really angry, but more for his girlfriend's sake. Should I contact her?
No.
Do you not think so?
No.
Oh my God.
Again,
I
this is
absolutely
like
disagree.
getting involved. I mean, I would be really pissed off at the guy and certainly would have a word with him. But I don't think it's my place to tell the girlfriend. I mean, that, you know why? Because it sounds like I want him and he's doing this. So, know what your boyfriend's like because actually I want him. And
Oh, because you're a boyfriend stealer.
That would be like, yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't do that. I would certainly have a word with the boyfriend, but not the girlfriend. But
I also want to add, this man has not just disrespected his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He has also been sleeping with this girl under false pretenses.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying the girl should have a word with the guy, but not with the girlfriend. I mean, she doesn't know the girlfriend, I'm presuming.
But do you not think it's the right thing for her to do?
No.
If your boyfriend's cheating on you, would you rather the girl who was cheating on you with contacted you and said, I didn't know you had a girlfriend?
No, I would not.
Linda likes to put her head in the sand. I'm the opposite. I'm sorry. If I find out, if I was on holidays, I was having a prolonged period, and also this man has really pissed me off, I would tell his girlfriend. I think that's the right thing to do. I think I'd sleep better at night.
Yeah, but how would the girlfriend feel?
I would way rather. So these sort of texts, by the way, in these modern age, are called "Hey girly" texts.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So you're my girlfriend to be like, oh, I got a hey girly text the other day because that's how they always start.
Oh.
But if Alfie was cheating on me, I would way rather the girl contacted me and told me.
The girl he was cheating with?
Yeah. And then at least she could say,
But wouldn't you ever think,
how else would I
why
know?
has she done that?
No, but I think, I
Does
would,
she want you to dump him so that she can have him?
but I would want to dump him if he was cheating on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're the girlfriend. Yeah. So, but then I would be thinking, why is she telling me that?
Yeah, you're thinking she's trying to be a boyfriend stealer because
Exactly.
it takes one to know one. But I'm thinking maybe she just feels hard done by. Maybe she's been a victim of cheating before and she wants to actually be on the side of women. If I found out, I would, and let this be known, I would, to my boyfriend, if my boyfriend was cheating on me, I would way rather find out about it. I don't care who I'm finding out about it from, but I would want to know. I don't want to be made a fool out of. And I think if you are a good person, you should contact his girlfriend.
And you would not end up hating the girl that told you.
I would end up hating her, but that's my
Well, there you
prerogative.
go. That's what
we're not looking to be best mates.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Is that you might hate the girl,
Yeah.
but sure, you don't know her. Doesn't matter.
No, agreed. But we're talking from the girl's point of view. The girl who has not been cheated on, well, sort of,
So, to this listener who has said, should I tell the boyfriend? You're saying none of your business, don't.
Yeah.
Or sorry, should I tell the girlfriend none of your
The
business,
girlfriend,
don't?
yeah.
I'm saying if it'll help you sleep better at night, prioritize yourself. And I stand on the side of women. Let his girlfriend know that he is a cheating bastard.
I'm not on the side of women. I just
Woman
think,
hater.
yeah, exactly. Just I'm a woman and I've been cheated on. But I just think that no, that's my opinion on that.
Fair enough. You've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Linda is not a girl's girl. Have you ever had any crazy holiday stories yourself?
What about meeting people or?
Just anything on holidays.
Well, I did meet a waiter.
You told us that the other week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you that. And I had one holiday which was absolutely disastrous. I was going for I think it was my 55th birthday to New York. And I was going with my friend Britta. And we were meeting up in Paris to take a flight to New York.
Uh-huh.
And when we got there, we checked in. Our cases were put on the flight, taken away. And then we were told, I don't even know how this happened that we couldn't get on the flight.
Did your bags go?
The bags went. We couldn't get on the flight, so we were stuck in Charles de Gaulle.
And we called the company that we'd gone through, and they didn't want to know, basically. And then we had to try and find another flight, and we eventually went with, I think it was Delta that was said, oh no, you weren't booked on the flight, except that they took our cases, which is really weird. And then we had to go with Air India, and we had to wait hours and hours and hours to get on the flight on Air India. So we were stuck in
So the whole 4 days that we were there was sort of like worried about whether we would actually get home.
Linda, you have just told me a 4-minute story that you missed a flight. I stayed in an orgy hotel once by accident. Did I tell you this?
I didn't know an orgy hotel.
Oh, Linda. Okay, so I'm on holidays. I meet this girl. We're getting along great. I'm with my boyfriend. We meet this other girl as well. So there's 4 of us now at this point, right? We're traveling together. We're very disorganized. We decide to move on to the next location as a group of 4. None of us book the accommodation until we're about 10 minutes away. We book whatever we can find on Airbnb. When we get there, the guy to the Airbnb, it turns out our host is also living in the house. He's this very camp gay man. And he doesn't know we're even due to arrive. Like, he's shocked upon our arrival. But we show him that we've booked it. He lets us in. The house is basically like in a hole. You have to walk over a plank of wood to access it. Like, I swear to God, you actually couldn't write this. When we arrive, he's got none of the beds organised. It's about midnight. He's having drinks with what looks to be his boyfriend. They both scurry away and they prep the room. Prep, in inverted commas, because when we get up to that room, there's 2 double beds. When we get up to that room, it is just ransacked. Like, my bed doesn't even have a duvet. There's a cigarette in my bed. Like, it's so, Linda, it was now I've stayed in a lot of weird places. This was actually takes the biscuit for weirdest place I've ever stayed. Obviously, you're thinking, why did you stay there?
I was just going to say, why didn't you leave?
Because the place is filthy. Because it's about 1 a.m. Where can we go? Okay, we've no internet. So the 4 of us think we'll just stay there for one night.
No internet? You don't have internet?
No, I was in Mexico.
Why didn't you have internet?
Just didn't have it. Just didn't have internet on my phone. But we're getting lost in the small details
Oh,
here.
sorry.
Let's keep things moving. Next day I wake up. We decide we've only got 1 day in this town before we're moving on anyway. And we say we could spend the day, like you and your friend, organising our stuff. Or we could just say, you know what, we're just going to have the views and an adventure. Let's just stay for another night. What's the worst that could happen? We've already slept here now. So we decide to get
A
up.
cigarette in the bed.
Yeah, and I was smoking it. No, I wasn't. I was just like, wow, mint under the pillow, cigarette under the duvet. No. Anyway, so I get up, and we all get up. We go to the beach for the day. We think, sure, we'll just head out. Come back. The host is shocked upon our return. Like, he can't even believe we're deciding to stay another night. And when we get there, now at this point, as I said, this guy was so funny. Like, camp, like, little twink. He's full body glitter, just a rainbow thong, purple lipstick. And he is like, oh, you guys want to stay again? Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to have a party tonight if that's okay. Like, we're in his Airbnb. He's living there too. We're all kind of thinking, is that okay? Like, what can we say at this point? We're like, yeah, no worries. The only thing is we have to be out early in the morning. He's like, I'll try turn the music down by about 2. So anyway, we're looking at the guests arriving. And we're like, this is such a weird crowd. Like, why is everyone so on their phones? Why is everyone so awkward? Why are they all men? And then we realise, because he only has an outdoor toilet, and we got to go down to use the toilet, and there's a sign on the door that he's advertised a sex party. And then we realise this is not a party. This man is hosting an orgy.
You are joking.
And we were correct in thinking that.
You have some stories.
Oh, girl, I know. Anyway,
Well,
that's
that
the time
beat
I
my
started.
blooming
That's what I was thinking.
missed
I
the
was like,
flight or not accepted on the flight.
True story.
yeah, Olivia was the girl. Sorry. That's how I met Olivia. We stayed in the orgy hotel together.
My God.
All the men were really like confused that they saw women. We kind of went down to use the toilet, and then they were looking at us like, "Why are you guys here?" We're like, "Don't worry, we're not here for the party." And they're like, "Oh, thank God for that."
Oh my
I also
God.
do want to add that we should have known from the minute we walked in, because when he was showing us the premises, which was just the most bizarre place ever, he said to us, by the way, that's the outdoor toilet. And when I used it and I turned on the light, it blew the electricity for the entire house. which never really worked again. But we told him, and he said, "Oh, you can use that toilet if you want, or just piss wherever you like."
No.
I mean, the girl who shat in the bin would have loved this place.
It was crazy. It was actually crazy.
And that is how I met our producers. So, Linda, aside from a very long story about how you didn't get on a flight, any other holiday disasters? I apologise to the listeners for that. Let's, Sam, or to our editor, when you're editing that, can you do that at double speed? I've actually had loads of weird things happen to me on holidays, Linda. Did I ever tell you this? Did I ever tell you
Why
about
does that not surprise me?
Did I ever tell you about the time I got a lift on the back of a man's bicycle?
No.
This is funny. Okay, me and an ex-boyfriend were on holidays, and I had walked to the shop, okay? And I was walking back. It was about a maybe 25, 30-minute walk. And a man on a push bike, like a bicycle, just cycled up beside me and was like, he spoke English. He was like, "Hello, do you want to ride?" And I was like, "You know what? Can I sit on the seat?" And he was like, "You can." And I said to him, "I've no money." And he was like, "That's all right. Where are you going?" And he just cycled me on the back of his bike to my accommodation. And he was in a cowboy hat. And then when I got off, like, it was just the most bizarre thing. I got off and I was like, "Thanks very much." And he was like, "No problem. Do you want a sip of this?" And just handed me like a naggin of Captain Morgan's. And I said, "No, I'm all good." And then he just cycled away.
Wild.
But I was telling my friends, and they said to me, "Anna, that was actually very dangerous. You shouldn't just be hopping on the back of men's." And all I have to say to that is, what is someone, sorry, have you seen, I am not a skinny girl. Like, he was probably just looking for some weight to his bike for a bit of a workout. No one is running away with me on the back of their bike, unless they're, I don't know, Usain Bolt or something. Like, who's going to kidnap you on the back of a bicycle? Have you ever nearly been kidnapped?
No, go on, tell me you have. Yeah.
No, I've actually never nearly been kidnapped.
Okay, all right.
Well, there was this one time where I was in a taxi. I'd gone to visit my friend who lived in Barcelona. We'd all gone out dancing, a big group of us. Then we went to the beach after the nightclub to just hang out, drink a beer. That's like a normal thing to do there. But I just got tired and I was kind of fed up. One of the girls had already gone home, and I said, "I'm actually going to head home too." So I got in a taxi by myself. I mean, that's stupid, right?
Yeah.
Got in a taxi, but I hailed it on the side of the road, so there was also no track of it because it wasn't like it was on Uber. Hopped in the back of it and started directing the taxi to the flat, which was only about a 10-minute drive.
Right.
And then I said to him, "Oh, we turn up right this way." And he didn't turn up right. I don't know why I'd sat in the front with him. And then I was like, he drove by the stop and I said, no, that way. And he put his hand like high up on my thigh.
Oh my God.
And he also locked the door.
What?
And I was just like, this man is abducting me. So I just didn't say anything. And I just sat there. And then when we got to a red light, I just pulled the lock up, opened the door and just jumped and ran out.
My.
I know. And you know how I feel like he was abducting me? It was a taxi and he didn't shout anything and he didn't chase me. He wasn't like, "Hey, you owe me a fee." He just drove off.
You see?
Yeah. And then I ran the whole way home crying. And there was no one in the house to cry to. And then in the morning I got up and I just forgot about it until lunchtime when I said it to the girls. But look, I think that sort of stuff is character building.
What? I wouldn't think so. Oh my God.
Oh, come on. Everyone loves a little kidnapping every now and then.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Why do those things happen to you?
I think it's because I act and don't think,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it could be that.
But look, I'd be kidnapped just for the journey home, really. Like,
Then you didn't even get home.
I didn't even get it. No, I didn't. Sure, I got it.
home.
You know what? I felt like we started off that a bit of a wobble, and I felt like we've somehow landed the plane successfully.
Good. I'm glad you feel like that.
Do you feel like that?
I don't know. I'm lost now because I'm still in your kidnap story.
Guys, we have really enjoyed solving your holiday dramas.
We have. Indeed, we have.
And the girl who shot in the bin, we want to hear an update from that.
Yes, we
And
do. Hopefully, you're still together.
I hope you're not. I think, you know what, just both move on and pretend it never happened.
Start again.
Start again. Guys, I've been the cheese,
And I've been the chalk.
and we've loved solving your problems.
We have indeed.
Join us on our next pod where we'll solve some more. Thanks for listening.